Hi, good afternoon. Scott Shellady here. Let's talk about really the biggest one on the board when it comes to the eggs and the row crops is going to be corn. It's had the biggest move as of late. Yesterday, 6%. Today, another 3-ish percent, wherever you want to kind of peg those numbers at. And it just looks as though we've really caught everybody wrong-footed. Now, we had a resurvey. Most of the folks out there thought, well, if they're going to redo it, maybe they missed something and they're going to get the bullish news, or at least the farmers. And a lot of speculators thought that we were going to get some bullish news when they announced this resurvey. But you know what? As we all well know, those numbers came in bearish, and some of them more bearish than we thought were going to happen. And what happens when you get most people on one side of that boat? The reaction is more severe than maybe it would have been. So we're off some 40 cents in the last 2 days, which is fairly significant. And that just gives you an idea about how wrong-footed the market was, because we saw a 25-cent sell-off yesterday, and we saw a continued sell-off in the synthetic markets. And then overnight we opened lower, which means that we really had some repricing or recalibration to do there because we had so many people on one side of the boat. I guess I'll turn to the technicals because that's going to give us an idea, because everything's been so muddied with the USDA report. That was kind of a shocker. Some folks are going to be happy that we got that gap. Technicians like to fill gaps, right? 377.5 to 380. But unfortunately, then we kind of shift our eyes to the contract lows of 363 and change. So keep that in mind, that this thing might not be over depending on how many people we had on the wrong side of the boat. So technicians are happy we got that gap filled, but we might still be looking for a little bit more of a sell-off here depending on how many people we got wrong-footed. Now, I guess what we're all going to talk about here until the next big fundamental news event is going to be acres and ears, right? And a lot of guys will try to tell you it's simple. We've been given the amount of acres, and we've been given what the production is going to be, the amount of ears. But what I'll say is this will leave the door open for a lot of debate going forward. There's a lot of debate still about how many acres we're going to have, and there's a lot of debate about how well these ears are going to fill out. So I'm not trying to be a permabull out there to give anybody real hope as far as this market turning around and rocketing higher. That'll take some time. We need to do some more technical work. But you're going to hear a ton of talk about acres and ears, and I think the acres is still mildly debatable, and I definitely think what we've got coming in as far as how well these ears are going to show up is also something that's going to be debatable. So still some big question marks out there after the numbers we got yesterday. We've kind of put the short-term worries to bed, but now it's going to have to be more of a longer-term issue.